Reverend Lee. So today I want to talk about the idea that it's always your choice. Yeah, it's always your choice. Maybe not to what happens to you, but certainly how you react to what happens to you. It's always a choice. You can always make an infinite number of choices as to how to deal with any situation. Here's a key thing to understand, and I'm getting this really, really loud and clear, is that there is a significant difference between how I process information, how a person 10 years younger than me processes an information, how a person 20 years younger than me, 30, 40, 50, 60, they process information differently. I can respond and say, well, they're idiots. Look at how they're responding to me. They're not responding the way I want. But that's not the case. They're not idiots. They're of a different vibration. They came into this planet wired so differently. Why? I don't know. I don't know that I'm right. But what I do know is that I process information differently. Even people my own age, I process information differently. Example of that would be with my wife. When I put a question to her, she's going to pause, wait, analyze, may not even get back to me right away. In the old day, I would get frustrated. I said, why aren't you responding right away? And then I started to realize that she's different. So I just give her time. I ask the question, and I don't expect an immediate answer. Sometimes it would behoove me to probably wait before I respond. But I tend to be the type of individual where answers come out pretty fast. And what I've come to understand, there's really a balance there. There's a balance there between the idea of following your intuition, the idea of analyzing before you respond, and then there's the whole aspect of what have I been conditioned to respond? How have I been conditioned to respond? You see, if I've been conditioned to respond, I'm not at choice. But when I become aware that I have a choice, I break the conditioning and I think, is this serving the highest Lee? Is this a greater expression of love? And so I embrace that new way of looking at things. I fully get and understand, not all the time, but everyone sees life differently. Everyone sees life differently. There's no two people on the planet that sees life differently. I can tell you one of the things that I admire is, for example, the difference between Jean and I, my wife. I tend to be right out there on the forefront, trying new things, new ways of experiencing life, new ways of claiming my personal power, going deeper into meditation, using spiritual tools to change my life. And what Jean does is she sort of watches, she analyzes, and if it feels right, she gets involved. Examples, Wim Hof breathing. At first, man, as soon as I heard Wim Hof breathing, I was into it. Patience. And within a short period of time, Jean started. We would do Wim Hof breathing together every day. We meditate every morning together, every day. We understand that we can use our power to create, our power to love, to heal. I use the power to love to heal me. I've done that. I prove it to myself all the time. I'm now watching Jean do that with herself. Here's what I'm saying is, you may be at choice, and you are, but you can't be at choice for anyone else. You're only at choice for yourself. What you can do is you can become an example. And people will watch, and they'll ask the question, is he really doing that? Is she really doing that? Or what is the result from doing that? And if they see the result, they, at some point, may be willing to give it a try. One of the things I learned raising a couple children is that they never listen to what you say. They observe what you do. And at some point, they're going to model it. May not be right then. I know Jean and I modeled trying to be a great mother and father, trying to be a great husband and wife. And at times, they just didn't see it. They thought we were weird. Now that we're older, they can see the things in our relationship that work. They also see the things in our relationship that don't work, especially that may not work for them because they're different. So if I'm always at choice, then I make a conscious choice to choose to let people be themselves and not try to control them. And I'm telling you, that's difficult. My ego thinks it knows what's right. My ego not only thinks it knows what's right for me, but it thinks it knows what's right for everyone. And that's not the case. Because of the 8 billion people on the planet, there's no two that think alike. There's no two that are even remotely alike. Everyone is different. And so it's a choice. Are you going to conform to society, or are you going to be unique? Now, I'm not trying to say to you that you don't go along with accepted norms. You don't use your manners with people. You don't extend common courtesy. No, I'm not saying that at all. I think it's important that we have agreements to function together as a society, as a couple, as a family, as a community. But that doesn't mean you give up your individuality. It doesn't mean you give your uniqueness up. And it's real important to understand that your power is only with you. And your power is how you perceive life. How you perceive life will determine your life experience. Here's a question. Are you a victim or are you a creator? Creators consciously choose the perspective in which they live their life. And because they've consciously chosen that perspective, that becomes their experience. Victims believe that things happen to them and they have no control. They don't believe they're at choice. You're always at choice. That's probably one of the greatest reasons I left becoming a Catholic priest at 15, 16. I got kicked out of the seminary. I was asked to not come back because I refused to blindly believe what the Catholic Church was saying. I chose to think for myself. I did not believe that I was here to sacrifice my life for God. I said, how small a God is that? A God that would want me to sacrifice. That's not a God. That's a being with an ego. And even at a young age, I knew God didn't want to be worshipped and adored. What kind of being is that? And first and foremost, God's infinite. So there's nothing but God. So who's going to worship God? Itself? Love means to accept. Love cannot judge. Listen to this. It's your choice to love. It's your choice to judge. Love connects. Judgment separates. Love heals. Love heals. Judgment causes dis-ease. It takes you out of oneness. Remember, whatever happens to you today, how you react to it is your choice. Claim it, own it, and start living it and see if it works. Make it a great day, everyone. Aloha.